Sup, ZD? Random person here. Now, we've all seen the undead things in Hyrule that should be remaining in the ground. We've gone into the graves and we've seen the Redead. We've walked around Hyrule at night and we've seen the Style Children. But I got to thinking, what exactly determines what a person becomes after they die? How exactly does one go from dead to Redead? Haha, fun with words. And I do believe that I have found a correlation between how to become such and such. So if you want to go to Hyrule and you want to become one of these things, you sicko, I think I know the way to do so. These theories are going to be talking mainly about Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask and a little bit of Twilight Princess, but not too much Twilight Princess because I'm not sure that all of these things apply to Twilight Princess, but I'm pretty sure they do to Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Alright, let's get down to it. The first theory, some people are probably going to say that, oh, well, it could just be random. Well, as lovely as the word random is, the word random should not be used in vain. Let's get that out of the way. If something's going to be random, you need to prove that it's random. And I think I've got enough proof here to prove that this stuff is not random. Okay, first thing on my list is everybody's favorite, the Redead. Yeah, I freaking hate those guys. How exactly does one become Redead though? Well, my theory is that in order to become Redead, A, you have to die. 2, you have to become your body has to remain intact, and then Trace, somebody alive has to re-summon you back up. And the reason I believe this is because Redead are always guarding something. They're guarding graves. They've been seen guarding graves in Ocarina of Time. They've been seen guarding parts of Ganon's territory, which makes you to believe that Ganon can summon these things. And in Majora's Mask, they guard Ikana Castle, as well as the stone tower climby part thing. Yeah. And in Twilight Princess, they guard parts of the Arbiter's grounds. That makes me think that other people have put them there to guard their treasures or their entrances. So, recap, to become Redead, die, keep your body, have somebody alive summon you. And that leads me to my next topic, which is Gibdos. How exactly does one become a Gibdo? Gibdos are, actually it turns out, they're Redead, but bandaged up. But I don't think the process to become a Gibdo is the same as it is to become a Redead. I think a Gibdo, your body raises itself up, and it's because when you die, you want something physical. If you play Majora's Mask, you know that you have to talk to all those Gibdos, and they always want something from you. And that's because Gibdos want something physical to take with them before they're ready to move on to the next place or whatever. And once that happens, they rest pretty much, and you don't see them anymore. So in order to become a Gibdo, you have to die, keep your body, and when you die, you have to want something. All this applies to Hyrule, by the way. It's not going to work in real life. And then my next topic. What is the next topic? My next topic is the Poe Ghost. That's what it is. How does one become a Poe Ghost? Originally, I thought in order to become a Poe Ghost, you had to be a Gerudo. Because I heard that Gerudos, Poes were called sisters, but I had not heard them called boys before, so I thought, there's a correlation there. But then I found evidence that didn't support that. So one of those evidence was that the Composer brothers, I believe, are very powerful Poes. And of course, if they're Composer brothers, then they can't be Gerudos because there's only one male born every such and such years in the Gerudos. Plus, it states in the Ocarina of Time book that Gerudos haunt their own grave and they attack when somebody gets near their grave. In Ocarina of Time, most Poes are found in the graveyard, in Kakariko Village graveyard, and in the field after the 7 years have passed. Not many are found in the desert, which is where Gerudos would be. So I'm thinking most of the Poes in Ocarina of Time are probably knights that died. And it makes sense because, that's the that there are graves in the graveyard, of course, and people probably died over the past 7 years, and were buried in Hyrule Field. Now, I believe in order to become a Poe ghost, you have to die, you have to be buried, and then you have to not want to leave, pretty much. Not like Gibdos. Gibdos are ready to leave, they just want something physical to take with them. I believe Poes just don't want to go. So yeah, that's how you become a Poe ghost. Next on my list is, it incorporates a large group, is the style people. Um, first part of the style people I want to talk about is the Stalfos, and that's pretty self-explanatory on how to become a Stalfo. It says in Ocarina of Time, Stalfos are people who got lost in the Lost Woods. I'm not exactly sure how that works out in Twilight Princess, since Stalfos are mainly found in the Arbiter's grounds, but I can't argue with what Ocarina of Time says. So now the rest of them, the Style Children, uh, Captain Kita, and the king of Ikana and his subordinates, I consider all these things style people. And how does one become a style person? Well, I believe in Termina, I don't think you can become a style person. I believe that all the style people were once their own race that lived in Ikana, and nobody else can really become them. They all have similar traits, similar body structures. The king and Captain Kita and the subordinates, they're all pretty big. And they all seem to have a weakness to light. I mean, the style children only come at night, and the king and his subordinates don't really like sunlight. And the only time, and the captain is actually weakened by light arrows more so than normal arrows. So these people, they share a similar trait. So I'm thinking they're their own race. So if you want to become one of them, you'd have to be one of their race, which is now extinct since everybody kind of is pretty much dead. Yeah, and that's it. So if you want to become a style person, or that's not a style foe in Ocarina of Time, too bad for you. And next is the Garrows, which only appear in Majora's Mask. How exactly does one become a Garrow? Well, I believe the Garrows are similar to the style people. It says they were people sent to spy on the people of Ikana, and once they died, they still spy to this day. So yeah, but a lot of people think that, or maybe not a lot, but some people think that the Garrows are actually them that haunt the ranch in Termina, Romani's ranch. I myself do not believe that at all. The scientist does mention that they are seen a lot through the ranch, but I believe the sightings that are there, I think they're talking about the Gorman brothers who possess Garrow masks. The Garrows themselves mistake Link for a Garrow because he wears such a mask, so it would not be uncommon for somebody to mistake the Gorman brothers, as they wear Garrow masks too. But yeah, so if you wanted to become a Garrow, too bad for you. Garrows were spies that sent by probably some of the race, and they died. And then the next people on my list is sages. Now, why would I mention sages? Sages seem like heavenly beings, not dead people. The reason I mention sages is because in Ocarina of Time, I believe every sage except for Zelda died before they became a sage. And I believe once Link defeated the person in the tower, the person in the temple, they became, their sage power awakened, and they were reborn as sages. That's a whole argument right there. But yeah, so if you wanted to go to Hyrule and become a sage, that's too bad for you. Sages are predetermined, and you can't become a sage. And the final thing on my list is, I call them spirits. They're actually called ghosts. That's actually the name for them, but I don't want to confuse them with Poes, so for that, I'm going to call them spirits. And these spirits include Dempe, Queen Ratilia, Twin Rova, the king and his subordinates after they're defeated. And I believe in order to become a spirit, you have to die. I don't know whether or not your body must remain or it has to be lost, but you have to want to do something. Gyptos, not like Gyptos. Gyptos want something physical. They want milk. They want potions. They want something physical. Spirits want something done. Twin Rova and the king's subordinates, once they became ghosts or spirits, they wanted to kill Link, but once they realized they couldn't, they moved on. Dampe wanted to race. The king of Ikana wanted to teach Link the song, and Queen Ratilia wanted her kids safe. So that is what I think about spirits, and that leads me to Hero Shade. Now, if you believe he is Link, which there is strong evidence to support that, if you believe he is Ocarina of Time Link, that's you can argue that later. But he does in fact want something done. He wants his lessons taught. What I'm not sure about of him being the same spirit as Queen Ratilia is that he can do certain things. I mean, he can take Link to another dimension and teach him sword fights. But that could just be that because he has more spiritual power than Queen Ratilia. But yeah, if you want to become a spirit, then you would die, and then you would want to have something done. And what happens to these things after they're defeated, I don't know exactly. I mean, the Poes have souls, but other than that, it's pretty much a big mystery. I mean, they probably go on, or there could be some reincarnation in Zelda or something else like along those lines. But that's up for argument. But that is my theory, or my multiple theories about the dead people in Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask and somewhat Twilight Princess. And you can agree with me, or you can not. You know, I'm just some random person. My theories are not absolute. And you can have a nice think about that. Yeah, because that sounded smart. Random person